Hello, Maki. World's qualifying review. Begin. NRG versus Weibo. This game was not a surprise to me. Gigantically not a surprise to me. I was expecting NRG to do better, maybe take a game out of them, probably be like Weibo for at least one game. But no, they did not do that. In typical NA fashion, they beat G2 and then they did nothing against Weibo after that. If you're a G2 fan, how do you feel right now? How do you really, really feel right now? I have nothing to say about this series, of course. Let's go to game one first. So they're trying to do the Senna, Tom Kench, Ignar versus FBI. It did not work. Deshae was absolutely smurfing at them. Light was probably the MVP of this entire series. So Light was great on Aphelios 3-0-3. Shy did well on the Cassante 4-3-2. This was a decent series, of course. It was a lot of back and forth. The Dokla trying to keep him up, so does Palafox, of course. It was a little bit of a tight series, and then, of course, after that, it was like downhill from there. And this series was a little bit downhill from there. Game two was another 33 minutes, but once again, the Shy dominated one, and once again, Light popping off on the Aphelios 9-1-4. And none of the NRG players did absolutely well. It was a domination from the start, like pretty much dominating from the objective sides. Like they got like two Drakes. They got like Drakes dominating the objectives and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was no surprise. Light was absolutely popping off. And then game three was kind of like your typical North America, crapping themselves, shot themselves in the foot. 26 minutes. Dokla did nothing. Contracts did nothing. Palafox did something, FBI did something, but the rest of North America did nothing. Xiaohu was brilliant on that Jace 10, 2, and 6. Wei, he was fine, 11 assists, of course. Chris was also great with the Heimerdinger? Heimerdinger, okay then. 10 assists, of course. So yeah, no surprise about the series. This was a pretty much a typical North America crapping themselves in a big matchup. What are you going to say about that? Nothing much to say. Let's get to a more interesting series. Gen.G versus BLG. Now, this was a really weird series to pick. Like, really weird, to be honest. Let's just go to game one. So, game one was BLG dominated this game. Bin put in Duran in the trash. 4 kills for him. 4-1-5. Then I think he was the only good one. Shun, he was brilliant on Jarvan, and we'll get to another Jarvan player that did not do well. We'll get to another Jarvan player that did not do well. 5-1-7. In fact, this is gonna be a recurring theme, of course, of this series evaluations. Keeps watching. He was brilliant on Jarvan, of course. Elk 205, not much to do, but of course it was Shun dominating the first game. Game 2 was also a dominating game by Shun as well. 5-0-8. Yeah, 5-0-8 on him. Yagao did okay. Elk 7-0-2, brilliant as well. And of course, Gen.G did nothing. 28 minutes stomp down, and you're thinking to yourself, this is another one of those Gen.G choking performances at Worlds again. It's happening again, of course. I guess especially against a team that they lost to in the MSI, get crushed. But then the comeback begins. Game 3, 46 minutes long. Slow-paced game, but pretty much what Gen.G looking for. Duran did well, 5-2-6, of course. But Pez, 7-1-3 on the Kaiser. Needed it most. Brilliant play, of course. Shun once again did well on Jarvan, 2-0-5. And then Yagao did well on Elk, 4-4-3. Not that much. But Gen.G, 46 minutes. Struggling along, typical LCK stuff. Grinding, and maybe have a chance to eventually win this game. On to game 4, when we see like another long game. This time it's a 35-minute game. Duran on that Rumble, 15 assists. Chovy, 5-2-8 on the Akali. And then Pez, 6-3-11 on that Kalista. Elk did not do nothing. Yagao did not do nothing. And then Shun once again on that Jarvan, 6-3-4. Not enough, but you can see the pattern over there. I feel like, Gen.G, when they won that game 4, I was thinking to myself, oh my god, we have a reverse sweep in our hands. We have a reverse sweep in our hands. This is incredible. And then it did not happen. Here's why. 33-42, that was the time in the 5th game. Duran did nothing. Peanut did nothing. Pass, he did fine, 4-1-1, but once again, it was the Jarvan. So, let me just tell you why you have this. You know what I say Jarvan in the entire series? That's because this is now the second time in which... No, this is like the 3rd time in which a player has picked the same champion in all 5 games of the series. The other 2 times were Faker, Galio in 5 games against RNG back in 2017. And then, ironically enough, it was Jarvan with JJ EDG against Gen.G. You see the pattern here? You see the pattern here? Yeah, so once again, they gave over Jarvan in 5 games Gen.G, and he was brilliant. 5-1-8 in game 5 what did I say? A brilliant performance by him, brilliant performance by BLG. It was a little bit sketchy, of course, especially game 3 and 4, but BLG with a better team to win. And listen, I heard that Gen.G is gonna broke up their roster this next month, which is pretty much sad because Score has become one of the best coaches in all of Gen.G right now. He's probably gonna go down to one of the best coaches, but my God, he cannot be an LPL team for the life of me. The last 3 international events that Gen.G has lost to, they lost to DRX and twice to BLG. Let me just say it again. They lost to EDG, DRX, and BLG twice. That is appalling. That is appalling for a team with this much stature, with this much quality, and with this much incredible players, of course. Now, of course, you have to, kick out like jungle or mid lane, or of course, I don't think you have to kick out Jovi. Listen, if you think Jovi is suffering right now, Deft before last year's Worlds was a suffering menace, of course. He haven't even won a quarterfinals for the life of him. So yeah, I hope he can try, but I don't know if this is the team you have to do it. Let's move on to Gen.G versus KT Rolster. Yum. Let's see what we have. So game 1. Whew. Surprise, surprise. KT Rolster won. Surprise. Keen did not do nothing. 3-6. Oh wait, Keen did not do absolutely nothing, but 10 assists, of course. Cuz 2-0-10, but it was BDD Akali 7-0-3 with Amy 6-0-5. The Lulu was actually a great idea, polymorphing and all the kind of stuff, making the ruler missing lane kind of like meh, all the kind of stuff. So when KT won game 1, I was kind of feeling like myself. On one hand, I feel like KT might have a chance. Maybe they have a chance against JDG or something. But I feel like on the other hand, you must be feeling to myself, you're facing JDG. And, of course, if you are a KT Rolster fan, you are doing the cardinal sin of all esports is to get excited for get excited for KT Rolster. And when you get excited for KT Rolster, bad things will happen. And that was what happened in games 2 and 4. Let's break it down. Game 2. Game 2 was a JDG beatdown. 3-6-9. Dominating Aatrox. 4-0-6. Kanavi, dominating on Vi, 6-1-8. Ruler, dominating on Jinx, 5-9. They had no chance in that game. 26-minute beatdown, of course. And then game 3 was an absolute worst beatdown. 27 minutes. 3-6-9 again on the Aatrox, 3-2-5. Knight, 4-0-7. And Ruler on the Sivir, 5-1-4. My God, KT, you just gone from winning game 1 and feeling good to about getting absolutely crapped on by JDG. It's like, what do you expect? You could beat JDG once, you could beat JDG twice, but can you beat JDG in 3 games? That ain't happening, man. That is not happening. And then game 4 was kind of like wacky. It was really wacky. 33 minutes of wackiness, of course. I think I remember this game pretty much well. KT Rolster and JDG go scrappy, all this kind of stuff, which pretty much benefits KT Rolster in some extent. And then at that moment, you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, maybe KT winning. At that moment when they have Baron, they were going to Baron, and it was like 6k goal lead. They were 6k goal lead ahead of JDG. Do you know what happened next? Do you know what exactly happened next in that moment? Knight did the Oriana Shockwave, killed, and then it was Ruler, killed 2 people, get a triple kill, and then get the Baron, and then in your hearts and hearts you cannot win this game. When JDG did this to you, on that Baron, it is game over. I don't care what goal lead you have. I don't care what momentum you have. I don't care what anything else. JDG is going to rip your souls out from your body, bury them deep. Listen, KT Rolster have game 1. You thinking you're excited? Nope, JDG is going to win. I feel it in my balls, man. I said JDG is going to win this. I picked them in the pick'ems, and I just feel like, yeah, I was right. JDG is going to win this series. I mean, game 1 kind of scared me, but, JDG with a better team. It was crazy at the end with the whole, they killed the minions, and then cannon minion shot with the Baron buff, shot them in the cannon, and that was a crazy ending, but hey, JDG with a better team. And I'm sorry, KT Rolster, but once again, you have failed us again. You should have won that series against T1 in that lower bracket series. You could have a better seeding, but nope, you crap yourselves, and then you have a really rough schedule, and then you have to face a really good JDG team. So, you did this to yourself. You really did this to yourself. Sorry, but that's on you. And finally, to the game that we have this morning, it is T1 versus LNG. Scout v Faker, everyone. The matchup that we've all been seeing since, like, I don't know, 2013, when Scott was a little bit of prodigy. I think I remember that one time he was playing in the Kespa Cup game, and it was so awful that he decided to kick him out. That's what happens. He decided to go EDG. He won a world championship there. He's now going to LNG, MVP all the time. Faker, he's not been great, of course, after the hand injury and all the kind of stuff. He was great last year, but then, of course, he was decent, and then, of course, the hand injury, and it was not that decent, and the T1 team is not that decent. So going on paper, I was thinking that LNG going to win this game. I think LNG is going to win this game. It's going to be an all LPL semifinals, an all LPL finals. You know, LPL is going to dominate themselves. Korea's going to go silent. Nobody's going to be watching the LC. Nobody's going to be watching LCK anymore. The LCK is probably dead. And then, lo and behold, something crazy happened. Tarzan decided to perform the worst jungling performance in any international matchup that I ever seen. Take a look at game one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just look at game one. So, game one, he plays Jarvan, which is, you know, a good idea. He was really running it down. 0-4-2. I remember one of the times they decided to Jarvan ult right in the middle turret, and that was just not it, man. That was just horrible. That was just absolutely horrible. Gumayushi plays Nila with Kyria Senna. Alright, that's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea, but it worked. T1 won that game, and it worked, but if you take it, the Tarzan misery will stop there. Take a look at game two. And also the Hong, you know, Blitzcrank did not work for me. Game two, everyone. Tarzan did absolutely worse. He did 2 assists, and he got killed once, but he did, I don't know, basically nothing in that game. He did basically nothing. While Zeus get 2 kills on the Aatrox, and then Gumayushi once again, 4-1-3 on the Varus this time. Varus! Alright then, good for him. Dominated the game with Kyria's Ashe. T1 is cooking something. I think T1 has been talking, I heard that all the people are talking crap about T1, and now they're like, ooh, they're pulling out all this stuff? That's amazing. That's pretty much amazing. Yeah. Everyone, like, Gumayushi dominated that game, of course. It was no chance. Once again, LNG do absolutely awful in that game. And if you're thinking all of this is awful, game 3 was an absolute stinker. Cheese and rice. You know how bad this series was for Tarzan when he got killed by Poppy in the jungle in the very first minutes of the game. That's how bad it is. Let me just see the time. 3:04. Tarzan got killed by Poppy at 3 minutes and 4 seconds. That's his entire series. That's his entire series in a nutshell. That's his entire series in a nutshell. All the talk about Scout and Faker, and then Tarzan decided to be like the center of attention for the worst reasons. That's horrible. That's the worst juggling performance I ever seen. I seen Razak running down more faster than you guys, but this is just awful. T1 took the freest win ever. Zeus was dominating 6-0-3 on that Jace. Faker, he did fine. Gumayushi did fine. But yeah, this was LNG pretty much bad. And now we got like the 3 LPL teams and 1 LCK team again. This is 2018, but it probably reversed right now. So what do I think about the quarterfinal matches? I think the Gen.G BLG was kind of the exciting one. I think the JDG T1 JDG Gen.G JDG KT Rolster matchup was probably my also favorite as well. I think, you know, the Weibo NRG is not my favorites, and even the T1 LNG, man, I wanted to see the 5 games between these two. I want to see blood, but Tarzan decided to be the worst jungler ever in the worst time, and that's not good. That's not great at all. You know, you just wasted Scout's best performance at LPL with the MVP, and to do this. I know people are going to complain, it's like, let's just do double elimination and all kind of stuff. But no, dude, you have one moment and you blew it. And I'm sorry, man, but Tarzan, you're a good player, but it's just a horrible performance. It's just a horrible performance. So, let's look at semifinals. Weibo versus BLG. I feel like this is a crap semifinals. Listen, let me just say something. I feel like BLG is going to win this game. I feel like, listen, Weibo, you got like an easy ride to semifinals. You beat no Eastern teams. You beat all the crappy Western teams. Congratulations, you're in your semifinal spot by sheer coincidence. But now you're about to get clapped by BLG. Bin's going to put you on the ground. Elk is going to beat you. Listen, BLG have not performed well at Worlds this year, but that doesn't mean that BLG are a good team. I feel like BLG are a really good team, and I feel like they're good enough to even capitalize on Weibo's mistakes, capitalize on the Shy, capitalize on all of this kind of things. Bin is a way better top laner than the Shy. He's a way better top laner than the Shy. I feel like BLG is going to win. So I'm going to put like BLG 3-1 over Weibo Gaming. I have to put BLG 3-1 over Weibo Gaming. And then I got JDG versus T1, which is going to be the third meeting of these teams in the last year. Do you know that T1 was the last team to beat JDG in a best of 5, guys? Do you know that? Do you really know that? Well, now you know, guys. Last year, World Semifinals at this spot. Now this year, World Semifinals at this spot. This time in front of all the Korean fans. Oh, all the pressure is on JDG? You thinking all the pressure is on T1? Yeah, all the pressure on T1 with the home fans and all the kind of stuff? Nope. All the pressure on JDG. All the pressure on JDG. Because the last time these two teams met at MSI, it was a really, really close series. It was JDG dominated as usual, but then T1 had like 1 fight, 1 kill, and 1 game over. And that's it. That was it. So I'm really interested in this series. I'm really, really interested in this series. I think it'll be a really good series. I think this might be the best game not named finals in like a long while. And that'll be interesting. That'll be really, really interesting for me. I have this in a 5-game series, and I think JDG will win 3-2. I'm sorry, T1 fans, but it is what it is. And I think you know, that's pretty much it. But listen, T1 proved me wrong a couple of times. Maybe might prove me wrong again. So anyways, that should do it for the quarterfinal review and the semifinal preview, of course. Next time we'll look at the semifinals and then we'll tease a little bit for the finals. And then what I might do off season is probably like talk to you about LEC and LCS rumors. Tasty. Ladies and gentlemen, ping on that like button, ping the subscribe button, and don't ping it too much unless Riot Games will do something. Do you enjoy the experience? Do you enjoy the video and all the experience? Do not ping too much. Don't be like freaking all the kind of stuff saying toxicity is bad. Screw the ping system. Anyways, goodbye. Happy Sunday or something.